Keagan, it's been a good season for you personally. You're working under Hunt now for the first time. He comes from Cape Town, he understands you. But do you feel that he's taken your game like to a different level? Because you work with lots of good coaches at Ajax, and obviously that's where you learned most of what you know as a footballer and got you to where you are now. But Hunt personally, what have you learned from him?
Yeah, obviously coming from Ajax, there's been a lot of coaches, from Europe, things like that, which are very high standard. But obviously, I think Coach Gavin has improved my game. I think for me as well, growing, from that, from development player to a more experienced player in the team as well. I think Coach Hunt instilled that ruthlessness, that mentality, the winning mentality, and just minimizing small mistakes, to get to the next level, So for me, I think he's improved my game a lot. I think the way that I'm playing now, the things I've learned from him as well has also improved my game. Where to do things, how to move, when to move. So I think that's helped me as well a lot.
From a mental aspect, this is cliche of Cape Town boys coming and struggling here, they're in the headlights in Joburg, getting more money than peanuts players earn in Cape Town and stuff. Has he helped you with that, or was that like maybe a personal journey for you to be this disciplined professional player that he rightfully says that you are?
I think it's more personal. I think for me, I know why I'm here. I know what I'm here to do. So for me, I've always had that discipline. It was installed in me from a young age. So it's never been difficult for me, to not be going out and things like that. I know when to do it and what to do. So for me, I think the stereotype of players from Cape Town struggling in Joburg, I think it's just a mental aspect. Personally, I think if you apply yourself properly, you shouldn't be able to struggle.
But what are you doing like?
For me, mostly you'll find me I go to church. At home, I'm always recovering or just going to the mall or something like that. I don't go clubbing and stuff like that, because that doesn't I don't find it entertaining. So I think just that alone helps me focus on what I need to do, so I don't get the feeling to go out and seek those acknowledgements from outside, because I have everything I need at home as well.
Okay, so like we were previously mentioning, you've been in the junior national team, I think since under 17, under 15, whatever, and all the way up till under 23 now. You're probably one of the most experienced players that's eligible for the under 23s in terms of professional appearances made and things like that. And if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the captains or vice captain for the under 23s. How much did that responsibility boost your confidence, and you're likely to be the captain heading to Congo, maybe even AFCON under 23, maybe even Olympics if you guys get there? Has it made you feel like I belong and I'm probably destined to to be in Bafana and beyond that? You know what I mean?
Look, for me, I have never put it into I'm destined for that, because once you start telling yourself I'm destined for that, you start becoming complacent.
Yeah. So
that's obviously not something I would want to do. But obviously, it's always a big responsibility to be the captain, to be named the captain. But for me, when we're in the field, obviously everyone can be a captain. It's just that I wear the armband at the time. But for me, I think having that responsibility is just to help the other guys as well. Some of the guys that are eligible for under 23s also playing DVC still. So it's difficult as well for them, because sometimes the tempo of the game is not the same. So just to adapt, to help with that as well. Because I think for me as well, having played in AFCON already, and
under 20,
under 23 as well, and qualifying for Olympics, it helps me as well. It gives me an upper hand to help the other guys as well, and just to be that guy that encourages the team to do more,
I mean, you started your professional career in NFD, and a lot of players are probably going to come from him, particularly your former club Spurs now, Boitomelo, Liam, Lincoln, what's the striker's name?
Mani, Ashley.
So that level that you've experienced, how good is it actually compared to what, fighting for second, third place here in the top flight, in terms of translating that into decent performances for the junior national team? Is it good enough, that level?
To be honest, I feel like it also depends on what team you're at.
Yeah.
The type of football that the team plays. I feel like the NFD, it brings out that in you where you have to be able to think a bit quicker, whereas with PSL, it's a bit smarter. The players are more tactically aware than what sometimes in the NFD they are. So I think it does help, because if you're playing NFD, the fields are smaller, spaces are smaller, so you have to think a bit quicker. So that, I think, helps as well for you to think on your feet, and I think that helps grow the player as well. And by the time you get to the PSL, it shouldn't be difficult, because then your decisions should be made quicker, because the fields are bigger, you have more time and space, but obviously the tempo of the game differs.
Yeah, talk about that graveyard Parrow Park and that type
Exactly,
of thing.
yeah.
So on a personal level, what would qualifying for the under-23 AFCON and Olympics mean for you? South Africa is not particularly at the best state in terms of the national team, and there's a lot of you guys, younger group of players, who probably want to look at this like, we can be a brighter future, we can make the country proud. So how much would it mean for you guys personally to achieve those two targets?
I think it would be a massive achievement. It will give the players exposure, a bit more exposure, to open the market as well for European scouts as well. I feel like just going into that, to be part of history as well, to qualify for Olympics, it's a big deal. I think we've qualified for the last 2 Olympics back to back, and if we can get another one, a third one in a row, I think that's history as well for the country as well. And for us to just be part of that and put our footprint in history as well, it would be good for the players. I think being as young as the players are, it's a good step in your career as well, to be able to be exposed to that as well. I think it's good. So for me, the players just have to work hard and take it game by game.
Last one, Coach Kevin said something interesting earlier this season. He said that he can see you playing as a midfielder because of your awareness, your positional awareness, your passing range, and just your general positioning. Do you see that for yourself, like to play as a 6 or maybe even an 8 because of your work rate, or do you see yourself as developing into a specialist right back?
Look, I've always saw myself as a versatile player. When I started my career, I was a striker. For some that don't know, I was a striker. I then got moved to midfield. I played midfield a couple of times. So it's not impossible, but for now I'm just focusing on the position that I am playing, working on that. But if the time does come for me to obviously shift, and if it does benefit the team, then so be it. I'll do my best in the position.
Thank you, Bruce.